And welcome to the Advanced Training Open House. And as the name implies, Open House is just is a way for us to share with you what's up in the program and what you can expect, so that you are much more in a better position to make an informed decision on how the program can serve you. Okay, before we start, I'm going to invite you to watch a video. Okay, and while you're watching this video, I want you to notice, yay, back to basic training observation. Okay, I want you to share with me what are you noticing about this man, and share with me what you think is going through, as you're noticing what he's doing. Okay, good. So here it goes. Great. So share with me, what do you notice about this man?
He starts off with a big was, and then he goes in slowly into the details. So it's like precision, but he goes in slowly into it.
Yeah, there's one. There's one very good observation. What else do you guys notice about this man?
The man is very focused and have full attention to what he's doing right that moment.
Wow, that's true. Very focused attention. What else? What else do you notice about this man?
Hi Ben. I see how he has expressing himself through the art he's doing.
Yeah. So that's a connection with the art, with that thing that he's doing. Yeah? Good. What else do you notice here?
Like it was the same foundation, but the artistry for each vase was different.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. Any last observation? Anyone caught caught your attention?
I think he seems to be taking the picture that he has of something in his mind and creating it piece by piece through his hands.
Yes, yeah. Wonderful, isn't it? Expression. How he expresses something through his craft, through his skills, and giving that piece of work a life, a form that reflects what the creator intended it to be. And there's so much we can talk about it. And what do you think is the message behind this video to what we are going to talk about, which is advanced training?
This is Carlos. For me, it's taking something that at the beginning is possible that doesn't have any form, but at the end will have a beautiful image, a beautiful sense, all his energy, all his expression, his thoughts are included on what he made or
Yeah.
what he's making.
Yeah, that's good. That's a very good insight, Carlos. Anyone would like to share? What do you think is the message here in relationship to the advanced training that we're going to talk about? Carly, you seem to have something to say.
I was thinking that the vases and the pottery themselves had already had a reasonable amount of work put
Mhm.
into them to create them to what looked like a start point was actually an end point of something else. So it
Yeah.
started as a piece of clay. It had been worked into a basic form, and the next piece of work was the artistry that came
Yeah.
with it. So wondering whether that's a link, perhaps.
Maybe that's a good link. Carly, you was nodding.
Yeah, I really like how Michael used the word artistry, which I also thought of this word that we are learning our craft.
Yeah.
So it's a skill that can be learned,
Yeah.
but to make it crafty, need to put efforts to it.
Well done, well done. And I see this is what we actually do as a professional coach. I'm not sure about what is in your mind. Oh yeah, it's another training that we're going to talk about, another program that we're going to talk about. Well, I guess program and training is just a label that we just make sense of it. I guess what is really behind the training or behind the program is a call for anyone who are serious about offering transformation, deep transformation. And today, this afternoon, I got such a wonderful discussion with a student in which we say, hey, we are not doing change. We are offering transformations. It's not about just coaching someone to change something so that they can do something better. It's really seeing them unfold into a new way of being. And that certainly takes time. But it also takes a lot from the craftsman to be able to deliver that. And I think we forgot this piece when we go into training because our mind is focusing on what's the question, what's the framework, what's the first step, what's the second step, what to do when this client says something like this. We are so engrossed in trying to deal with the result and that we forget that we are also a part of the answer. See the point? And that's where the advanced training is for advanced practitioner or for people who seriously wanted to pursue this quest to offer transformation for their client. As you can see, change is fun, change is good, change is adorable, but it's not easy. It's not easy. And part of the thing that we want to offer is invite, evoke, and embrace. And that's certainly not easy to invite people for change, evoke them to change, and ask them to embrace the change. It certainly requires a strong hand and yet tender and gentle at the same time. So we forgot that in level one, as we are so engrossed in the framework, that we forgot that we are also an answer to the result that we want to create, a deeper transformation for our clients. And the mere pursuit of just learning techniques and tools, well, it's like Christmas tree. You just over decorate. Okay, and it loses the essence of the original version of what it's intended to be. So when we are looking at the advanced training, there are a couple of things. Number one, it is a longer training program compared to core training. Number two, the depths are much more deeper. Okay, well, you just touched the baby pool in core training. Okay, that's just the baby pool that your initiation. You know what I mean? Oh, this is the water. It's not that cold. This is just only the baby pool. So, and when we go to the advanced training, we want to help you to appreciate the awesome responsibility, the awesome task of us creating change. And henceforth, like any serious practitioner knows, you cannot avoid depths. The practitioner needs to understand, at least to a great degree, what is it that we're dealing with. So henceforth, in terms of the advanced training, the resource required to hold this 7 months is very heavy. Thank God it's only 7 months. It's not 9 months. Okay, but it's very focused learning in 7 months, in which we had to hold the space. Why? Because we are going beyond just learning the framework or master a certain skill set. That is still one of the deliverable, because from a program point of view, from a approved training provider point of view, we are responsible to ICF to ensure that students understands the expected outcome. So we will deliver substance in terms of knowledge and concept and skills and tools and technique. But what we are really interested is that we use these as a platform to help to shape up the personhood of a professional coach in you, so that you will walk away from the advanced training not only have a good understanding of what is it to be able to coach at the PCC level, and at the same time you will have the heartbeat of a true professional coach inside of you. And that's what makes this advanced training such an amazing journey for all our graduates who have completed the program. And we only do it one time in a year for that particular time slot, because it is very resource intensive. And trust me, you have all of them in the advanced training. Okay, because the advanced training to me is the most important part of the training, because that's where we nurture our future leaders, and we filter them to the third level training, which that is a third level, and that is only by selection. And it is in the third level training that we really prepare the students to be a faculty staff or a adjunct or associate with CMA. And most of them are serious about professional coaching, are walking towards the path of a MCC. So if the second level training is not well done, the entire year of our next year succession planning is totally affected. So that is so much at stake for me personally. And I have come to a stage in my development that I'm interested about creating MCC, not PCC. But in order to get a good MCC, I have to make sure that at the intermediate level, the students has an opportunity to build a solid foundation. So that's what we are into in the advanced training: precision, focus, and the craftsmanship of being a professional coach. Level 1, you're only stretched intellectually. Okay, do bullet, hold the space, say in 7 words. Okay, you're only stretched intellectually, which is good. You got the right understanding, and then we get you into the second level, in which we not say translate, but we connect learning with your sensing and feeling the process. Because we talk about the coach as being the expert in the process. It doesn't mean mechanically, intellectually control the process. It requires you to feel what the client is talking about, feel how the client's mind is thinking. Okay, so that requires a little bit more advanced level of training and preparing our students. Sounds scary, but trust me, it is durable. Okay, all we need to do, I think most of you will have been given this opportunity to be coached by our graduates. These graduates are all graduates who have completed second level training, and you might be thinking, wow, they must have been doing coaching for many years. Well, most of them are like you. They started the journey a couple months ago. Okay, with the youngest only 8 to 9 months ago and completed the advanced training. Okay, and yet they are able to accelerate their competency to this level, partly because of their hard work, their diligence, and their passion, and secondly also because of the way the program is designed. Okay, let me get rid of some of the things that is already a myth at the back of the students. Number one, most students think, oh, let me wait until I'm ready, then I move on to the advanced training. Well, that makes a lot of sense if you don't feel that professional coaching is what you are, or you're not ready to go into deep transformation, or your agenda is simply, well, I just want to check in to see how things move on. But by the fact that you're interested to come for today learning or today debriefing session, it means that there is something inside you to say that I want a little bit more here. Right? If not, otherwise you won't be interested even at all to think about the advanced training. Now, if that is the case, then you need to understand that knowledge and muscles, knowledge or competency, they operate very differently. After an intensive study, you want to take a gap year, that is fine, because mentally you are exhausted. And having a gap year allows your brain to refresh and to be ready for the next level. Now, if you are building competency, the gap year will going to be a disadvantage. Why? As you have experienced it, some of the skills, if you don't use it for some time, it get rusty. And then when you decided to cut back again, well, you have to reboot. And then from a sports psychology point of view, at the beginning stage of you acquiring the competency, you have to intensify it and not to relax. That's how muscles work. Now, once you intensify, you actually is able to arrive at a much more settled competency versus if you take a gap year in first level and try to reboot back to the second level. So that's why we encourage students who are seriously considering professional coaching, to not lose that momentum, that you continue in one breath, level 1 and level 2. At the end of the day, there is no level 1 and level 2. It's actually one program. We are just being very pragmatic to understand that, there's fewer people who are willing to commit to a long program when they don't know something about it. So henceforth, we have kind of like created in such a way that there is a first level leading to a second level. And the concept, the framework is one unified framework. Okay, so that's so much that I liked to mention about the myth behind. With that in mind, with that getting out of the way, let me quickly go through with what I plan to share with you today in terms of the program, and then after that we will have some Q&A. Well, first of all, we're going to just quickly go through what are some of the tangible benefits, mainly because it is an investment and it's certainly important for you to know what is it that you will get at the end of this program. And then finally, with that, I will move on to give you a little bit more information, what is the program and how is it being created. Now, one of the tangible returns of this program is that it builds up your coaching competency. Now, for those who have not started the supervised practical session, or for those who are already in the supervised practical sessions, you will realize that in level 1 training, much of the focus of the training is helping the clients to expand their mind, or you will be learning a lot on expanding the mind, and along the way, you complete the process by helping them to list out some action steps or accountability. And what most students actually felt incomplete, they don't feel incomplete actually at the beginning part of the training. They only start to feel that near to the end of the training, that there is something not complete here in my training. Why? Mainly because much of the training, much of the supervised practical session actually prepare the coach to learn to draw out first. So you're learning a new mindset, of a learning mindset. And that's why some of the students actually find it very difficult to do bulleting, to find the element and try to structure it nicely, because they are not used to listening. They are very accustomed to hearing what people are saying, but not listening to how people is expressing it. So that's why we need to take that journey to help our coaches to switch into a learning mode first, a learning mindset. And by the time when they actually acquire this mindset, we are almost come to the end of the supervised practical session. And that's where they say, yes, I can master expanding of the mind, but what about uncovering the gap? Okay, and that's why students who are desiring a little bit more felt that there's something incomplete here that they want to close it. And that's where the advanced training comes in to boost up the capacity at the uncovering of the gap, which is always the most challenging piece after the students has learned how to expand the mind. In the advanced training, that's where we put in this missing piece in bringing clarity to the client, to assist them to be able to own the process for behavior change. So here we are learning how to create the accountability for change, in which the focus is to raise up the student's sense, the client's sense of responsibility, the commitment towards the change, and taking ownership of the action steps. To achieve that, we brings we created this learning lab at the advanced training to ground our students in the process of transformation shift. So these three module, the learning lab, three module are the key and the most valuable part of building your understanding for a stronger coaching competency to create change. The first one is transformative dynamics, understanding what's the principle behind the shift concept. Now, in level one, we share with you, okay, you expand the mind, use this handle, dot, dot, dot. You go for understanding, you go for significant, you go for positive impact. We only share with you, this is the way to do coaching. But there is a science behind why it's designed in this way. And that's where in these 4 learning sessions, we walk you through to the best of our ability. And usually most of the students are very lost here, and it takes them a while to finally internalize it. Okay, but the concept is being reviewed to you in this first 4 module, the dynamic shift. So here, that's where you learn about the space, emerging understanding, and the most important concept, which is the triple loop learning, and how these 3 concepts comes together to create the principle, the transformative shift that you were taught in level 1. So you get a glimpse into the science behind it. Why do we want to do that? We believe, or I believe, that when you understand how things are put together, you are a little bit more intentional in terms of what you are doing. So that's the purpose behind it. In addition, besides having a good theoretical framework of how the science work, we want to make sure that our students has the heart to be able to hold to I mean, personal mastery is all about who you are, having the heart and the brain. Okay, so in the personal mastery, we want to walk you through this whole journey of being a professional coach. And there are 3 learning sessions. One of it is an inner journey, that professional coaching is about who you are. Who you are is how you coach. How you coach is who you are. And we want to make sure that you understand this as your own self journey. Then after that, we move on to talk about authentic presence. And then finally, we're going to share with you how can you tap into your own consciousness to be able to be more attuned to what you are sensing and feeling. Well, obviously, it is not going to happen in just one session that you are able to master it. But at least we share with you, these are the concepts. And then you take the rest of the month as the training unfolds step by step. You allow those principles to integrate as you are learning and practicing. Okay, so that's how it works with this first 2 modules. Forget about what is written here, because I just revised. I mean, not just revised, but for this year we're revising a new module for personal mastery. So we're only keeping authentic presence. The, deep listening and evocative asking will be taken away from this intake onwards. Okay, and finally to the last module, which is competency mastery. One of the things that most of our students are very frustrated about after level 1 training is, tell me more, what else? What do you mean by that? What makes it important and what positive difference? They kind of, is there anything else that we can ask besides just these few things? They get very frustrated, you know. Well, we design in this way so that your reactive mind, your resolving mind is being curbed, because you're not allowed to ask other questions. So it's kind of like you cannot think about what else you can ask except to focus on what to look for and fix it into the box. So it just kind of forces you to learn to listen rather than try to do something about what you're hearing. Now that you have finished, now that you're able to master these skills, that's why you're eager for more. Give me not just milk, give me the hamburger, please. Okay, good. So that's where we come into the advanced training. That's we will introduce you to concept. One is a clean language, which is a way to extract meaning, okay, from the clients instead of asking what do you mean by that. And then the second one is metaphoric language, because these 2 concepts is very rich in its capacity to milk or a lot of food, milk and cheese. It's for you to milk, the unconscious mind, to have the clients, to support the client to express something that is not so convenient or easy for normal words to be expressed, right? Like, I'm stressed. Okay, stress. What else can you say? Yeah, I'm stressed. I mean, my whole experience of my experiencing stress is being limited because of my vocabulary. Because the only way that I can say to you that I'm stressed is stress, a word called stress. You can see, but the word stress doesn't tell me, what you're experiencing. It's just a word. So in order for your clients to get a sense of their own experience, you need tools like maybe metaphoric language and or clean language that allows them to be able to express more freely, so that you can see what is it that they're experiencing, or for them to be able to see too. So that's the competency mastery that you'll be walking through. Okay, so these 3 modules, understanding the dynamics of understanding the transformative dynamic, personal mastery, and core competence mastery, forms the learning lab. And again, because this is a learning lab, it means knowledge has to be condensed and squeezed in. That's why it's designed a little bit more packed, so that you can get the loading done. Okay, especially for those who are going for the October intake, it will be a little bit more intense compared to the second to the September intake. Okay, but trust me, we did it 7 times And so far, everybody survived. But it doesn't mean it's easy. Joanna will say, but survive. Okay, but we don't guarantee that it's going to be easy. It's not a spa massage. Okay, so you're thinking about spa? Nah, this is not the place you are in. Okay, we are here to train sportsmen. Okay, but it is manageable. All you need to do is to really sit down, look at the calendar, and set the heart to do it. Got it? So when the class starts, trust me, you'll be fully engaged. Okay. Students always say, after the class finish, they cannot sleep. They're just thinking about it. Okay. Now Joanna said, yeah. You'll be thinking over it. Even in the dream, you will hear Ben talking to you. Michael, what are you thinking now? You hear, okay? That's a good sign. It shows that the concept is beginning to have its place in your theoretical understanding. Okay, good. So that's the first part of the program, the learning lab. Then after that, things gets a little bit easier. It's less abstract. It's more practical. So that's where we move into the second phase of the learning, called the practical lab. The practical lab, I could say, is the whole crystallization process. We're going to use ICF core competency and map that with our transformative shift and help you to see how the two can be demonstrated simultaneously. And we are able to achieve two things. Number one, integration of the concept. Number two, helping you to be able to coach at ICF PCC level. So that's where it becomes very practical and applicable. We will walk you through that these are the core competency, these are the behavior, this is what is expected of you to demonstrate, and why are we demonstrating it in this way, and how is this connected to our CMA framework. So we're going to walk through 10 sessions all together. It's going to be fun. Okay. You will memorize the core competency like you memorize the Bible in your fingertips. Okay. That's a whole drill. Okay. So if all 47 markers will be ingrained in you, my word of advice is at the beginning, it doesn't seem that things is connecting. Just as how you went through the core training, it doesn't seem to connect. But then gradually, it will all come together. Okay, so that's the practical lab, applicable, application focus, very structured and objective in its learning, versus the learning lab, a little bit more abstract and conceptual. Okay, good. The practical lab will be delivered by our faculty team, a group of them. Okay, but not too many this time round. Last time we have quite a lot, so students kind of like, oh, who is who? But this time round we kind of like filter down to a handful only, so that there is consistency and students is able to follow the style. Okay, so we have Alina, we have Ivan, we have Azadeh and Nok, and also in between their practice session, there will be other supporting faculty coming in. Okay, so they will be coming in as a supportive faculty in the breakout groups to help you to put the pieces together, whereas the actual delivery is done by this 5%. Okay, now in the learning lab, the heavy loading is done by me, but of course, you will be sick and tired if 10 times you're listening to Ben. Okay, so we have 2 to 3 different faculty, which I perceive as expert in their area, to able to come in to give a little bit balance. Okay, but the vast majority of the learning lab will be delivered by me. For the practical lab will be delivered by the faculty staff, but it doesn't mean I'm not there. Okay, I will be at the background observing what's going on, not with the faculty staff, but with the students. Okay, what you guys are saying, to see whether are you catching up in the learning. But I will not be interfering or be doing any teaching during the practical lab, but purely just observing how you guys is assimilating the learning through your discussions. After that finish, wow, that's where you get to meet up with the rest of your classmates globally. On record today, right now, we have 78 people registered for both September and October intake, and we do expect another 10 more upcoming later on. Most probably will hit 90, before the program starts. This means that you will get to work with quite a big range. It depends because most of you are 3 or 8:30. So if you divide it into half, it's actually 40-40. Okay, so you will get to meet with other cohorts in the next phase of the learning called the peer support. Now, I need to mention this. The peer support is a playground. Yes. You know a playground? Yeah, to play. Okay. You need to play in the playground. It's not meant for you to sit down and just watch. It's meant to be to play. What does it mean? Now that after you finish the learning lab, the practical lab, there's so much in your mind, right? How do we get rid of that? How do we help you to download? Well, that's where you will meet up with your course mate and start to practice with one another and teach one another. And that's the most fun part because we see the blind leading the blind. Okay, because I don't know, you don't know, we're trying to figure out what we know, but we don't know. Yes, the whole idea is that as you begin to talk and share your ideas with one another, knowing that you have not mastered your knowledge, that's where you will discover what is it that you do not know. Yes, that is important part of the learning. Okay, which most schools have forgotten, that knowing what you do not know is an important part of learning. Okay, yes. So you will be putting together in, I think, for about 6 weeks, in which you're going to meet up with your friends, and at least, usually the students meet up once per week, 2 times per week. Some are very ambitious, they meet up 3 times per week. You can ask Joanna. Okay, so you meet up, you look at the recording, you discuss again, what are you seeing, and just confuse each other. Yes, there's a lot of confusion, and trust me, we are not going to come in to help you guys. Okay, we're going to say yes, you just sort it out, just talk it through, go back to the recording, listen it again, and then sort it out. What does that mean? Okay, so that's where you own the learning. Okay, it's deliberately done it in this way so that we can bring your knowledge down to a level in which you can understand. Okay, and in this period of time, we will get our student support to come in to join you guys. Now, they are student support, they are not faculty staff, means maybe their understanding is as incomplete as you or may not be as complete as you, but they have been through the drill. So they either can tell you the cheat sheet that this is what is expected, or they kind of like make it a little more simplified for you to understand, which is an important part of the whole learning journey. The whole big picture is this is a playground. Okay, and it's also a good time of a break for you to just kind of like, not do heavy learning. Then we'll come to the actual learning where we are here to fix the pieces together for you. That's how you go through the final phase of the learning, which is supervised practical session. The only difference here is that you get to have 45 minutes to coach the client compared to 30 minutes. And you will invite a friend who has not done coaching before to be the client. That's where it brings value to the learning. Why? Because a client who has not done coaching does not behave like your friend who has done coaching. Okay, they don't understand your coaching question. When you ask them, how do you want to explore this? I don't know. Okay, because they don't know the drill. What do I expect them to answer? So that's why things become rich for the observer point of view, but not necessarily for the coach. Okay, the observer will say, okay, that's a good case here. Okay, but the coach is sweating all the time. Okay, but what I'm trying to say here that we have at least 80 over session, which means that you have potentially 80 case study of how a real client will behave with a different variation of topics. Okay, very rich. learning ground for you to harness. Okay, so that will bring the training to a final completion, in which we use the supervised practical sessions to kind of like show to students this is what is how it should be and how you need to demonstrate. So that's where we close the learning gap. So in the peer-to-peer, you confuse yourself so that you know what is it that you do not know. And then when you go to the supervised practical session, then you will be able to look up, oh, this is what it means when I was struggling with my understanding way back during the early days when I'm trying to figure that out. When you struggle, you are able to find the gem, it fits well. If you're not struggling, whatever we give it to you, you have no way to put it. Make sense? Great. So that's how the pieces come together. Now, in between the process between peer-to-peer support until the end of the supervised practical session, which is 3 months in period, that's where we initiate the mentor coaching sessions. The mentor coaching session is a one-to-one support system in which your mentor coach will review your recording and help you to identify your own personal learning gap to close. So anything that is confusing to you, you will use the mentor coaching to sort that out. Okay, so that's the complete pieces of what is advanced training. So you can see a lot of work. So that's the reason why for every time zone, we can only afford, at least at this capacity, to do it only once. And we want to make sure that in that one intake, we give our 100% and get the best out of the students. Okay, so it's not a regular program that we do whereby you can, oh, this month I miss it, I can join next month, or I can just join 2 months down the road. Now, if you miss this intake, if like say 8:30 is the only time you can join the training, if you miss this intake, it means the next intake will be most probably 1 year later. Yeah, because I mean, we do not want to make this as a transactional model that, you know, every month there is 10, 20 students can take the intake. Now, we believe that the value of the training is that the group comes together with 30, 40, with diversities and with different faculty contributing. Okay, great. So now it's Q&A time. Yeah. Any interesting Q&A? Any questions that you like to kind of like answer right now? That's a good time. Joanna is here. Why don't I just ask Joanna to share a little bit of her perspective? She's one of those students who has recently graduated. Even the fact that she have already completed her ACTP program before joining to CMA, he actually redo another ACTP program. Okay, so let's have Joanna to share a couple of things. Joanna, would you like to share something?
Yeah, thank you, Wen. This is Joanna from Spain, and it's true. I did my PCC in 2007 in another school, and when I met Ben, he strongly suggests to go for the core training and then to move to the PCC. And I had to relearn a lot, but my advice is go for it now, as soon as possible. If you deeply feel you want to have a professional coach, do it now. Don't wait for October of the next year. I know that it's very hard, but it's not a program. It's a journey to the mastery. To the mastery in coaching and to help your clients to enable a sustainable change. This is the big difference. The big difference from this program, and this is a change sustainable in time. I think for me, this is the best. And the other thing that's very good is you have a lot of diversity in the faculty teams. That means you can learn from people in Singapore, in India, in Romania, in London, and this is very, very good. And Ben said, I am hours there, and it's true. You don't know when Ben is going to jump it. But be ready, because any moment in any class, you think, wow, this is 1 a.m., Ben maybe is sleeping. No, it's something, if Ben thinks that she has to support in any way, she opened the camera and said, wow. And we are getting some new learning. That means I did it in February and I enjoy a lot. And it's hard, but as Ben said, I survive. And if I survive, any kind, if you feel deep, I want to be a coach, not. I want to be a professional coach. Boom. If you want to be a coach, go to the school in your country. If you want to be a professional coach, do it. Because this program, this is not the end. The end is the MCC. You see me? The end, the people said, why I am in the CMA? Because the CMA, I was looking for 3 months. The CMA is the place where you can find more MCC. Check it. I spent, before paying the $3,000, I spent 3 months looking for. And when you find the faculty team, Alina is MCC, Ben is MCC. I am not, but wait and see. But this is the journey to the MCC.
Thank you. By the way, we have the largest MCC as a faculty team. We have altogether 9. Okay.
I know.
And they're all in-house trained from 0cc to MCC. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And we found a way to accelerate the competency. It's not but just MCC. Well, of course, it is MCC. But what we've done is that we have accelerated the competency of an MCC skill set and able to make it into a instructional design to gradually, systematically build up the capacity. Okay, so that's why you find it so sweat and tough, even at the core level. It sounds simple, but yet you cannot execute it. But yet with practice, with the structure, you will get there. That's the beauty of our framework, right? And it certainly takes time and the effort, but it is a possibility. Good, great. So let's open up for Q&A. Anything in regards to the program that you want me to clarify? Great, Yang, Yang. Is that how we pronounce your name?
Yen, yeah.
Yen, okay.
Yen will be, yeah, like Japanese yen, like that.
Oh, Yen, okay, that's good.
So I have 2 questions. One, right, because I understand the PCC accreditation requires some number of hours of paid and unpaid coaching. So I just want to check, like, from the next level course, how many of those hours are actually covered, and what more hours outside those that you need to sort of do on your own to get the accreditation? And sorry, too many kids in the house. So and partly because, hang on. Okay, yeah. So and if you're not in the line of coaching, right, how do you actually get those additional paid hours? And then my second question, I'll make it quick, is you mentioned about identifying people for MCC from this course. What would be some of the considerations that is looking out for? Yeah.
Good. So let me just put this on the